Welcome to this audio press release, powered by IBN. This original production delivers market and sector insights, as well as executive interviews with innovative executives shaping the future in fast-moving industries, and may feature a client partner of IBN, or one of the 75-plus investor-focused brands within IBN's dynamic brand portfolio. As a multifaceted financial news and publishing company, IBN leverages an extensive distribution network, utilizing multiple proprietary corporate communication tools to introduce both public and private companies to a vast and diverse audience of investors, consumers, influencers, journalists, and other targeted segments of the public. IBN may have received compensation to produce this audio content. Please be sure to read IBN's entire disclaimers for full disclosures. This article has been disseminated on behalf of SureNano Science Ltd. And may include a paid advertisement. Headline: SureNano Science Ltd. Expands platform strategy across obesity therapeutics, advanced drug delivery. Obesity and type 2 diabetes mellitus have become two of the most pressing healthcare challenges worldwide, driving rising rates of cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease, kidney complications, and escalating healthcare costs. What began as a niche class of diabetes medications has evolved into one of the most transformative therapeutic categories in modern medicine, with GLP-1 receptor agonists now reshaping obesity treatment, metabolic care, and potentially even neurodegenerative disease management. Against this backdrop, SureNano Science Ltd., through its subsidiary GlucaPharm Inc., is advancing a differentiated next-generation GLP-1 platform centered on GP44, a novel triple agonist peptide designed to improve efficacy, tolerability, and delivery flexibility in one of the fastest-growing pharmaceutical markets in history. SureNano Science is one of the emerging microcap companies operating in the GLP space, forming part of a group of companies leading the way in the GLP-1 space, including Eli Lilly and Company, Novo Nordisk A, Amgen Inc., and Pfizer Inc. As the global obesity crisis continues, GLP-1 receptor agonists have rapidly emerged as one of the most important therapeutic breakthroughs in metabolic medicine. SureNano Science is advancing GP44 as a next-generation metabolic therapy intended to improve upon limitations associated with first-generation GLP-1 drugs. The global GLP-1 market could total more than $200 billion by 2035 as patient adoption expands and broader therapeutic applications emerge. Beyond therapeutic innovation itself, SureNano Science is also pursuing differentiated drug delivery technologies designed to improve patient accessibility and adherence. SureNano Science is also evaluating early-stage opportunities that could broaden the long-term scope of its therapeutic and delivery technology portfolio, including exposure to ibogaine. GLP-1 therapies reshape global healthcare. The global obesity crisis continues to intensify. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 1 billion people worldwide are living with obesity, while rates of type 2 diabetes continue to rise across both developed and emerging economies. The WHO further notes that obesity significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes, while additional research has linked excess weight to chronic kidney disease and rising healthcare expenditures, creating substantial pressure on healthcare systems globally. GLP-1 receptor agonists have rapidly emerged as one of the most important therapeutic breakthroughs in metabolic medicine. Originally developed for blood glucose regulation in diabetes patients, these therapies are now widely recognized for their ability to produce meaningful weight loss and improve broader metabolic outcomes. Industry leaders Novo Nordisk A and Eli Lilly and Company currently dominate the market through blockbuster injectable products including Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. Commercial expectations surrounding this sector continue to accelerate. JPMorgan Chase & Co. projects the broader obesity drug market could approach $200 billion by 2030 as adoption expands globally and indications broaden beyond diabetes and weight management. Additional industry forecasts suggest GLP-1 therapies could become one of the most commercially successful pharmaceutical categories in history, with annual sales projections reaching $150 billion or more by the end of the decade. At the same time, the industry is already shifting toward next-generation incretin therapies focused on improving efficacy, tolerability, and convenience. Oral formulations, expanded indications, and combination metabolic therapies are becoming major priorities across the pharmaceutical sector. Within this evolving landscape, SureNano Science is positioning itself as an agile entrant pursuing differentiated innovation through GLP-1, a patented triple agonist peptide licensed from Syracuse University and designed to advance through the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) regulatory pathway. A differentiated next-generation GLP candidate. SureNano Science is advancing GLP-1 as a patented next-generation metabolic therapy intended to improve upon limitations associated with first-generation GLP-1 drugs, positioning this emerging microcap as a minnow among giants quickly transitioning through the FDA pathway. Unlike conventional GLP-1 agonists that primarily target a single receptor pathway, GLP-1 functions as a triple agonist targeting GLP-1 and peptide YY receptors Y1 and Y2. This integrated mechanism is designed to simultaneously regulate glucose metabolism, suppress appetite, and improve tolerability within a single molecule. The compound was developed at Syracuse University and has demonstrated encouraging preclinical results. According to the company, GLP-1 produced meaningful reductions in food intake and body weight while also improving glycemic control in preclinical studies. Importantly, the compound reportedly avoided the nausea and gastrointestinal side effects commonly associated with many first-generation GLP-1 therapies, a factor that could become increasingly important as patient adoption expands. The broader pharmaceutical industry is aggressively pursuing differentiated incretin therapies capable of addressing patient tolerability and adherence challenges. PwC notes that the next phase of the obesity drug market will likely be defined by expanded indications, improved delivery methods, and therapies offering better long-term patient adherence. This creates a favorable backdrop for companies pursuing second-generation GLP innovation. While smaller than major pharmaceutical incumbents, SureNano Science operates with a lean development structure and cost-efficient strategy designed to maximize flexibility and accelerate development timelines. The company conducts significant research activities in Australia, where government incentives may provide research tax credits of up to 43.5% on eligible expenditures. If GLP-1 continues to demonstrate positive outcomes through future clinical development, the company could position itself as a potential acquisition, licensing, or partnership candidate within the rapidly expanding GLP ecosystem. Positioned within massive market expansion, the commercial opportunity surrounding GLP-1 therapies continues to grow rapidly. According to Morgan Stanley, the global GLP-1 market could approach $190 billion by 2035 as patient adoption expands and broader therapeutic applications emerge. Industry forecasts from BCC Research similarly project substantial long-term growth, $268.4 billion by 2030, in the GLP-1 analog market through the end of the decade. Patient adoption is also accelerating. Estimates suggest that anywhere from 25 to 30 million Americans could be using GLP-1 therapies by 2030, compared with approximately 10 million users in 2026. Expanding insurance coverage, rising obesity prevalence, and broader physician adoption are all contributing to the rapid mainstream acceptance of these therapies. The competitive landscape is simultaneously evolving toward next-generation products. IQVIA describes 2026 as potentially becoming the year of the orals, with oral GLP-1 formulations expected to significantly improve accessibility, adherence, and long-term maintenance therapy adoption. Off-patent semaglutide expansion across major global markets is also expected to increase competition and broaden overall patient access. As GLP-1 advances through IND-enabling studies and toward eventual Phase 1 trials, SureNano Science represents one of the relatively few microcap public companies providing direct exposure to the rapidly expanding GLP-1 market. This creates a potential valuation disconnect compared with large-cap pharmaceutical incumbents and later-stage obesity therapy developers, particularly if the company successfully achieves meaningful clinical and regulatory milestones. Advanced delivery technologies expand opportunity. Beyond therapeutic innovation itself, SureNano Science is also pursuing differentiated drug delivery technologies designed to improve patient accessibility and adherence. The company's platform strategy includes evaluating oral, sublingual, and intranasal delivery approaches that could eventually reduce dependence on injectable therapies. Convenience and adherence are becoming increasingly important competitive factors within the GLP-1 market. Current market-leading therapies are primarily injectable, which can create barriers for some patients due to administration complexity, refrigeration requirements, and long-term compliance challenges. Oral and non-invasive alternatives are widely viewed as one of the next major commercial opportunities within obesity and diabetes therapeutics. Industry analysts increasingly believe delivery innovation could become just as important as efficacy itself. IQVIA notes that oral obesity therapies could dramatically improve long-term maintenance adoption while simplifying distribution logistics by eliminating cold chain requirements. This could significantly expand patient accessibility across international markets. By combining therapeutic development with delivery innovation, SureNano Science is building a vertically integrated metabolic disease platform rather than focusing solely on a single injectable drug candidate. This broader platform strategy may create additional long-term optionality and commercial flexibility as the obesity treatment market continues evolving. Preclinical results highlight competitive potential. Preclinical data released by SureNano Science suggests that GEP44 may offer meaningful differentiation compared with earlier generation GLP therapies, positioning the company for meaningful upside as it progresses through its development phases of the FDA approval pathway. According to the company, the compound demonstrated approximately 15% weight loss in preclinical testing, compared with roughly 9% observed with liraglutide, while food intake reductions approached 39%, versus approximately 20% for the comparator. In addition to weight reduction, GEP44 also demonstrated improved glycemic control, while reportedly avoiding nausea and vomiting during testing. Gastrointestinal side effects remain one of the most significant challenges associated with many currently marketed GLP-1 therapies and are a major factor affecting long-term patient adherence. Improved tolerability could therefore become an important competitive advantage if these findings translate successfully into clinical studies. The pharmaceutical industry continues investing heavily into next-generation obesity therapies capable of improving efficacy and patient experience. The Pharma Letter reports that obesity drug pipelines are increasingly focused on differentiation through combination pathways, enhanced tolerability, and expanded delivery approaches as competition intensifies. While GEP44 remains in preclinical development, these early findings position SureNano Science within a highly strategic segment of the obesity treatment landscape. If future studies continue validating these results, the company could emerge as a differentiated participant in one of the largest and fastest-growing therapeutic categories in modern healthcare. Strategic expansion creates future optionality. In addition to advancing its core GLP-1 metabolic disease platform, SureNano Science is also evaluating early-stage opportunities that could broaden the long-term scope of its therapeutic and delivery technology portfolio. These discussions include non-binding opportunities involving ibogaine-related intellectual property focused on formulation and delivery technologies. While still exploratory and not considered a core asset at this stage, the initiative reflects a broader strategy aimed at building diversified platform capabilities across multiple high-growth therapeutic areas. Interest in ibogaine and related psychedelic-based therapeutics has increased significantly in recent years as researchers investigate their potential applications in addiction treatment, mental health disorders, and neurological conditions. CNN recently reported growing scientific and regulatory attention surrounding ibogaine research, particularly in areas involving opioid addiction and treatment-resistant mental health conditions. At the same time, the US Food and Drug Administration has signaled increasing interest in accelerating development pathways for treatments targeting serious mental illnesses and unmet medical needs. SureNano's interest in formulation and delivery technologies within these emerging areas aligns with the company's broader emphasis on drug delivery innovation and platform flexibility. Rather than positioning ibogaine-related opportunities as a standalone commercial focus, the company appears to be evaluating how specialized delivery technologies and intellectual property could complement its existing expertise in metabolic therapeutics and non-traditional administration approaches. This type of optionality may provide additional long-term strategic value if regulatory environments surrounding psychedelic-based therapies continue to evolve favorably. These initiatives remain early stage and subject to substantial scientific, clinical, and regulatory uncertainty. However, by evaluating selective expansion opportunities alongside its primary GLP-1 development efforts, SureNano Science is positioning itself within a broader trend toward diversified therapeutic platforms capable of addressing multiple large and evolving healthcare markets. As pharmaceutical innovation increasingly converges around metabolic health, neuroscience, and advanced delivery technologies, strategic flexibility could become an increasingly valuable differentiator for emerging biotechnology companies. GLP-1 market enters new phase. The GLP-1 sector continues to evolve rapidly as pharmaceutical developers expand treatment options for obesity, diabetes, and related metabolic conditions. Recent advancements across the space highlight growing momentum behind next-generation oral therapies, long-acting injectable formulations, and reduced-frequency dosing approaches designed to improve patient convenience, broaden access, and enhance long-term treatment outcomes in one of healthcare's fastest-growing therapeutic markets. Eli Lilly and Company announced that the US Food and Drug Administration approved Foundaye for adults with obesity or who are overweight with weight-related medical problems. When used alongside a reduced-calorie diet and increased physical activity, Foundaye helps individuals lose excess body weight and keep the weight off. Foundaye will be available via Lilly Direct, with prescriptions accepted immediately and shipping beginning April 6th, followed shortly after with broad availability through US retail pharmacies and telehealth providers. Novo Nordisk A announced that Ozempic tablets 1.5 mg, 4 mg, and 9 mg will be available for adults with type 2 diabetes in the United States. Ozempic is the only FDA-approved oral peptide GLP-1 medication for adults with type 2 diabetes, indicated not only to improve blood sugar, along with diet and exercise, but also to reduce the risk of major cardiovascular events such as heart attack, stroke, or death in those who are also at high risk for these events. Amgen Inc. is reporting full results from Part 1 of the Phase 2 study of MariTide, a long-acting peptide antibody conjugate subcutaneously administered monthly or less frequently. In addition to these data, complete results from the primary analysis of the Phase 1 pharmacokinetics low-dose initiation study, evaluating lower starting doses of MariTide, were presented as part of an expert-led symposium at the 85th American Diabetes Association Scientific Sessions and simultaneously published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Pfizer Inc. announced positive top-line results from the Phase 2b VESPER-3 study investigating monthly maintenance dosing of its fully biased, ultra-long-acting, injectable GLP-1 receptor agonist, RA, PF3944, MET097I, in adults with obesity or overweight without type 2 diabetes. The study had two objectives: to demonstrate PF3944 could achieve continued weight loss when switching from weekly to monthly subcutaneous injections, and maintain its efficacy while reducing the dosing frequency fourfold. And to demonstrate PF3944 could switch to a fourfold equivalent monthly dose while maintaining a well-tolerated and favorable safety profile. These key announcements underscore the continued transformation of the metabolic disease landscape, where innovation is increasingly focused on efficacy, accessibility, and patient adherence. As competition intensifies and new formulations move through regulatory and clinical milestones, the GLP-1 market is poised to remain a major driver of growth and innovation across the broader pharmaceutical industry. For more information, visit SureNano Science. This audio press release is an original content production powered by IBN, a multifaceted financial news and publishing company that delivers next-generation corporate communication solutions utilizing proprietary corporate communication tools such as news aggregation, syndication, social communication, and brand awareness techniques, among others. IBN introduces both public and private companies to diverse audiences to enhance reach and recognition. IBN may receive compensation for services and solutions provided to its client partners. The owners, officers, and directors of IBN, or any of its financial analysts mentioned in this production, do not hold positions in and do not intend to trade the securities of any IBN client partners' companies. This production is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell any securities that may be mentioned in this production. The information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, or should it be construed as investment advice. As in all investments, investment in the featured companies carries inherent investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This production by IBN is not purported to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used in statements of fact have been obtained from featured companies and other sources, but not verified nor guaranteed by IBN as to completeness and accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice. Please read IBN's entire disclaimers and disclosures at www.ibn.fn. Thank you again for listening to this audio press release, powered by IBN.